Very good afternoon, beautiful people, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another reaction video, and today we are going to discuss about Pero needs to know how to act in foreign countries, especially in a predominant. Is this what you think of Africans, baboons? Pero, in his video in Kisii, he was on a piki. So there was another piki rider riding besides him. There was some misunderstanding that went on, and he repeated the word baboon. This is the thing. In a black country, you don't do that. So the piki rider was a babu. So in Africa, in Kenya, any older people like me, I usually call my grandfather Babu. So, when you're a white person, the pronunciation sounds so different. So when a white person calls maybe that word babu, somebody might think that this individual is calling me babu. So Pero was saying, I didn't, and the man said, yes, you did. Why do you call us baboon? And the guy was angry and upset. And this is where the controversy might have not been said in the context. So, Pero, you are a pale man from Polish. Africans have been in the past called monk. They have been called babu, and that is what we know as a racist law. So you don't do that. When somebody says something and you repeat it after that individual said, you should not do that. This reminds me when you were in the matatu with D. Mwango and you were told to say the term one term, a political slogan, and of which you repeated it. That is a political sentence or a political statement that you're not supposed even to repeat. So Pero needs to know how to act in foreign countries, because he should be very sensitive about certain things. Even the audience are sensitive about certain things when they text or they comment in the comment section. So if you hear somebody saying something, why will you repeat? You should stay away from those things. You are somebody who will think you are very smart. Let us avoid such things. Be smart, Pero. Let us watch this clip, then we dive deep to the entire conversation of the day. Stay tuned.
Oh, the man says take a picture of this baboon. What a champ.
Why do you
Look at his umbrella though. What a champ. Wow. What a ride, man.
Why do you call us baboon?
Why baboon?
Why do you call us baboon?
No, he said baboon.
You say so.
Me, no. He said it.
What do you speak?
I never said it. No.
You never say that before.
Never. Why would I? Now look at this crossroads. Either you're faster or you're big.
After watching that clip, it is now time to dive deep to the entire conversation. Before that, welcome back to the channel, this amazing channel that goes by the name Maxwell Lumumba Africa. For those who are coming across this channel for the first time, I do reaction videos, especially to the videos that have been posted in public domain. Like today, we are going to discuss about Pero's baboon controversy in Kisii, a lesson every foreigner creator in Africa must learn. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who have not subscribed to this amazing YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share this video to other individuals. Remember to turn on the notification bell so that any day, anytime I post any video, you people get notified. Watch my videos from the beginning up to the end without skipping those ads that you see there. I also have another YouTube channel whose link I'm going to post in the comment section, and I'm going to pin it so that we make the channel be monetized. Already we have reached the required watching hours. Let us make also this YouTube channel become monetized to give us motivation of building and creating more content that generates an income. And that is how content creators' life is being transformed, and that is how we change lives for us. Having said that, today we need to discuss about a situation involving payroll that has generated debate amongst viewers after an incident that happened while he was riding on a motorcycle in Kisii. Motorcycle in the village, we call them piki. Yeah? When you hear anybody mentioning a word like piki, just know that is motorcycle, and that is the most used mode of transport in Kenya. Anywhere in the villages, even when you come to Nyabuhanse, you come to Isibania village, the most convenient mode of transport that you are going to expect is a piki. Here we don't have taxis, I don't know what, no. Piki, the most convenient mode of transport. And what makes the issue interesting is not necessarily whether payroll intended to offend anyone. The bigger question is how the word are perceived differently, cultural environment, and why content creators, especially foreign content creators working in Africa, must be extremely careful with certain language. From what the viewers saw in the video, there appeared to be a misunderstanding between Pero and another motorcycle rider. During the exchange, the word baboon was repeated, and that immediately created tension because you could hear that the border rider asking, "Have you really called us baboon?" Of which Pero was trying to express himself, like maybe he was told that when you go and meet maybe Mr. Ondari, because he's maybe an elderly person, you have to call him Babu. So for him, he thought that you just go to the street and you call any individual that you meet that, "Yes, Babu, how you doing?" You know, when you are white, people perceive these like you have called them baboon. And that is what the perception to that rider was. So now, some people may ask, what the problem? Babu is just the name of an animal, but history matters, context matters, and perception matters. Especially, many Africans are sensitive when it comes to comparison between black people and primates, because historically, racist individuals and colonial system used the terms such as monk, ape, and babu to demonize African people. And that is what we used to learn. Even look at what we were being taught in history and social studies, how human transformed from ape to a full evolved individual. From, I don't know, from Homo sapien, I don't know, from Homo habilis, I don't know to where. Those all stages of growth has been said historically, especially to our African brother. So whether someone intended it or not, those words carry historical baggage. So that is why the reaction from the rider was so emotional. And if these could continue, Pero could find himself in a deep trouble, because why are you calling us baboon? Notice that statement. Something very important. The rider was not analyzing Pero's intention. He was reacting to what he heard by himself, and that is often how communication works. People respond to words. Actually, people respond to words before they respond to explanation. And as a content creator, especially one traveling through Africa, understanding that reality is extremely important. I know a lot of people may want to learn Swahili. Even We have friends who learn a lot of Swahili. You know, when you're teaching them about this Swahili, you have to tell them that don't be using these word more often. Yeah, don't, because you know, funny thing about when somebody is learning language, yeah, you find yourself or the person who is being trained, you really like to know their abusive languages more than even the context, the statement that you can make, because you know, abusive language becomes like the norm of the day. People really like to really understand how these abusive language goes. Like somebody maybe can ask me, how do you call somebody, or let's say stupid, yeah, mjinga. You learn like wewe mjinga, you stupid person, yeah. That is the word that people really like to know before they come to know the real statements, or maybe after greetings you now go to abusive languages, then you now construct the statements. Yeah, so that is how people learn. Even in mother tongue in Kenya, a lot of people know abusive languages before even knowing the language itself. Like me, when it comes to Luo, I know the abusive languages. When it comes to Akamba, I know abusive languages. When it comes to almost all tribes in Kenya, I know the abusive languages, and I can hear most of what people are talking, but I cannot really speak what they speak. But you cannot talk about me without me knowing, because I really understand almost everything. So let me discuss about intent versus impact. And this is one of the biggest lesson from this situation, is that the difference between intent and impact. Intent is what you mean. Impact is how people will receive these, what you have said, or the information that you have relayed. What effect is it bringing to people? So a person may have innocent intention but creates a negative impact. Like there, you can see Pero had innocent intention, but the other rider sees this, that Pero has created what we call now the negative impact to the African brothers and sisters. So this happens every day around the world, not only with Pero. We have seen this happening, and there is something that is now being brought about the Polish, or the people who come from Poland, yeah, that they are very racist. Yeah? That is something that has been said. That is something that has been perceived, and people now take it serious. So a joke in one country may be offensive in another country. A gesture considered friendly in one culture may be insulting. You won't need maybe Marx to go to America and start saying Nigga. That will be bringing a lot of conflict. It will bring, even people will fight. Yeah, people can alive each other because Marx went there and used this word Nigga. So words that seem harmless to one person may carry painful historical memories for another. This is why international creators must constantly educate themselves about local sensitivities, and you must be sensitized in such a way that you know what you're saying and you really understand the context and what this word relates to this another one. So let me tell us the responsibility of a foreign creator. Let us be honest. Foreign creators often receive a lot of goodwill from African audience. People welcome them. People support their channels. People invite them into their homes. That is why you could see Pero walking freely with camera, talking to people, because when you know, there is difference between when Marx goes to Kisii town and start filming videos, people won't be seeing that this is the unique thing. But when they see somebody that is pale, or here we call them Muzungu with a camera, like everyone want to associate with that individual, because yeah, they want to associate, because this is something that we don't see these people more often. Let's say when I go to the same town that Pero was, when you look at how people will be receiving me, it is not the way somebody can be received. Let's say people who come maybe from okay, people with a different skin color, yeah? Because let's say somebody from Jamaica goes to Kisii without the accent, then you walk freely with the camera. Nobody will even maybe look back to see that this is what is happening, this person is a visa, no. But when you are pale in color, people now will be like agitated, and people will be like rejuvenated. They want to see where does this person come from. So that is why you see that the street was so much socializing. But when it came to the rider, because the rider was a babu, then Pero called him a babu, and for him, he never expected that Pero knows Swahili, so this one amplified his mind, and the only word he could hear is being called a baboon, and that is what happened. So people help them to navigate villages and towns. That is what helps. So because of the goodwill, they expect respect and cultural awareness. Just know about culture. So when you are a guest in another country, people naturally expect you to exercise extra caution, not because you are guilty, not because you are an artist, but because you are representing yourself, your brand, and in many ways your country. Because we could hear him saying, I come from Poland. Yeah, some people asking him, where do you come from? Some people are coming with maybe people are saying, you come from America, you come from, we people, yeah, especially in a village setup, everybody with where it comes from America. That is the only country that we could recognize. So when you tell us about Poland, that is why, especially for the followers of football, they know the likes of Lewandowski. So that is at the end of the day, they tell you, oh, where Lewandowski comes from, because they know him, because he's a celebrity. Yeah, but some countries are not that much known. Even whether you go to the village and ask, this person comes from, this is a Mzungu, and this Mzungu comes from which country? So a single careless statement can overshadow years of positive content. And that's the reality, especially in Kisii. We know how Kisii are. We know they become very much agitated. Yeah, they become, it is called what? When you have a lot of temper, they have a lot of temper. They can do anything to you. So when viewers are comparing this to the previous event, we were to call incidents, because I'm going to compare these with the same thing that Pero did in Nairobi na Matatu. So many viewers are drawing comparisons because they reacted these to the previous moment where creators repeat phrases without understanding their deeper meaning. The lesson is very simple. If somebody says something controversial, political, tribal, racial, cultural, sensitive, it is usually safer not to repeat it on camera. Because what did we see when they were in Matatu? Somebody came out and said, one term. Then Dimwango even herself insisted to Pero, do you know one term? I did a reaction video on that, and it is there in my videos, where the thumbnail there suggests that actually I wrote it, yeah? Pero said one term. Somebody who is supposed to guide you, to correct you, is there pardoning the same statement that you're not supposed to do, especially for the public figures. Yeah, let's say for me, Maxwell Lumumba, I cannot come here on camera and start saying that one term, two term. No, those are political statements that somebody of my caliber, I'm not supposed to even shout them, because I'm not supposed to tell people which side I am, because anything political, that is why I myself, I don't engage in any way in these political streets. I used to engage, yeah? When I was in university, I used to engage myself in politics, because there is a time where even I vied for presidency in the university level. But now it has reached a time that anything to do politics, I don't encourage and I don't entertain myself in politics. So this is something that We are supposed even to keep ourselves out of politics, especially for the content creators. So somebody like me, I never expected Pero to say one term, because that is a political statement and not everybody is in this side. Because okay, let me just highlight what it means by one term and two term. One term, these are the anti-government, the current government, the current administration, anybody who does not want the current administration. So the slogan is one term. For the people who support the current regime, they go with a slogan that we call it two term. So let's say when we go to Rift Valley, because the current regime, the head of the state, the president, come from that side. So when you go to Rift Valley and you start saying one term, you'll be in a deep problem. Then when you go to Central, you go and say two terms, that will be real problem, because those are anti-government. So let us not do these politics, especially, you see, like Nairobi is a multipolitan, yeah? Let us not go in Nairobi and now we start bringing in politics. You don't know. We have those people that we call them diehards, yeah? If you go and speak anything, this reminds me like almost 1.5 months in Keroka, where anybody who was saying one term, you are being kicked or you are being stoned with the stones, yeah, or you are being beaten with some canes. Everybody was supposed to say two term. So that tells us that, especially now we are near the electioneering period, yeah, a lot of politics go around. So we don't encourage anybody, especially for the content creators, to take a stand when it comes to politics. You just be there neutral, yeah. Whoever person or whichever individual you are going to vote in, that is up to you. Your vote, your secret. So let us pause, ask questions, understand the context first, then decide whether it is appropriate to engage or it is not. So the camera records everything, and sometimes we don't edit, and once a clip is online, people will replay it thousands of times. So the bigger lesson, these situations should not become a witch hunt. It should become a learning moment. Creators who travel across Africa should understand that Africa is diverse, culturally rich, and historically complex. Certain words trigger strong emotions because of experiences people might have faced over generations. So understanding those sensitive is the part of being a responsible global creator. So the smartest approach is simple: respect local culture, avoid repeating sensitive language, learn historical context, listen when locals express discomfort, and clarify misunderstanding quickly. So if Pero did not intend any offense, then explaining the misunderstanding calmly will help many viewers understand his side. So at the same time, viewers who felt uncomfortable also may have the right to explain why the word affected them. That is how the constructive dialogue happens. The real takeaway is not about winning an argument. It is about understanding that when you are creating context in another country, awareness and cultural sensitivity are just as important as the camera you are carrying. And that is the lesson every traveler loggers, not just Pero, can learn from, especially for those who have ambitions of doing traveling videos. Because even for me, I find myself salivating maybe traveling video. It is only that right now I don't have that money to start traveling maybe within Kenya. I get out of Kenya, explore the world, I open my mind, you know. The more you travel, the more competent you become. And for those who have traveled, you know, they are very competent because you have open your mind, because through travels you learn a lot of things. You learn different cultures, you learn how people socialize. You know, when you are glued in this village thing, yeah, we cannot think beyond village. That is why everything we do, we get backlash from what we do, because people don't really understand. So as I conclude, let us give out our thoughts in the comment section. What do you think Pero should be doing? Should Pero learn what to say, or was Pero right of what he did? Comment there in the comment section. Let us know. Let us continue supporting Vibe with Lumumba YouTube channel. I'm going to pin that link. Let us go support. Goodbye for now. Till we meet in the next video. Goodbye.